nice, yeah. So, bit of a jam there. Some interesting chords, kind of. Basically, in this video, I'd love to talk about this amazing guitar, in my opinion. It's a Les Paul, an Epiphone Les Paul Florentine. And it's quite unusual, and I get a good few comments on it if I do a reel or if someone sees it in real life, which is always nice. Because it's unusual, because it's got some F holes here, so it is semi-hollow, which is really cool. And it's made in Indonesia, I am now seeing, because it's still got this sticker on it, even though I've had it for absolutely years. And it's part of a sort of 2014 range that Epiphone did. So, you know, yeah, it's relatively old at this point. It's over 10 years old, and it's in great nick. And it's a lovely guitar. There's no mods on it at all. It's just absolutely as is. And really, some part of this video is really why I would really not want to invest at all in a Gibson Les Paul. And even though this is a little bit of a higher range Epiphone Les Paul, I do think there's something to be said for how good they can be. And it's almost like off-putting now to ever think, should I buy a Gibson? Do you agree with that? And I think it's really worth talking about. The build quality on a lot of these guitars, probably around this region as well, around this time, are quite nice. I think there's something to be said for when it comes to quality of instrument, whether or not it's expensive or whether or not it's cheap. Sometimes I think it's to do with whether or not it feels like home to you as a player. And this is what this guitar does for me. It makes me feel at home. And for whatever reason, there's something to do with the way it plays, which I really like. That all said, it feels like home in my hands. And I just wonder, and the point of the video, I suppose, is whether or not that is actually why I would never think about buying a Gibson Les Paul. I have a Gibson SG, and it's a P90, it's a special, I guess it's got P90s in it, and it's absolutely amazing. I've always felt like Epiphone SGs are never that great, and that's just my opinion. I don't know what it is about that. Maybe they've actually improved, and maybe I've not tried one in a while. Similar to Flying Vs, I do have a Gibson Flying V, which is amazing, and I've tried Epiphone Flying Vs kind of recently as well, a bit more than the SGs, and I just don't feel like it compares at all. But the Epiphone Les Paul is just something else. Is it that they put more effort into them in some form? Or is it to do with the actual shape and everything, the scale length, and just the way this guitar is constructed, that it doesn't actually seem to matter whether or not it's cheaper or not? Or is it to do with Epiphone's practices and they've just put a little bit more into the Epiphone Les Paul? I just find it immensely interesting. Bit of a sore point at the moment is the electronics in this are starting to fail a little bit. Like I say, after 10 years, after a lot of gig use as well. That's the pull pot, splitting the coil. Never really used it, don't really think it's that great, but you know, and it almost feels like I'm going to pull the pot apart nowadays, because I do feel like it's kind of suffering a bit. But everything else. So, interestingly with Les Pauls, I just always feel like this rhythm pickup always just so great. I mean, that's slash in it in a nutshell, just rhythm and then, you know, on to lead. But I think it's something to do with the makeup of the Les Paul itself, that when you're on that rhythm, that mellow, it's just always so nice. It doesn't matter if you have a Gibson. This is absolutely enough. Which is kind of mind-boggling, really. I'm not sure that their business model is strictly great for this reason. It could be to do with this version, but I do have a black Epiphone Les Paul, and again, That's a little bit of a older guitar even than this, and that's always been fantastic. That one's USA made, so I've always felt like that's a factor. But again, this one's Indonesia, which I guess factory wise maybe a better factory than some of the cheaper models, Epiphone models. But here we go, here's a bit of a tone dive. That's just coming out of the Marshall DSL-40 on this sort of mid-gain mode. It's not on the actual crunch mode, which is a bit more like this. Which maybe it should be, because that sounds pretty good, but... Paired with that rat pedal there, absolutely lovely, tone for days. It's really, really fantastic. Have you ever seen these guitars about? I'd be really interested to know. I feel like it is quite rare these days. I think there probably is a Gibson sort of counterpart version to this guitar, but I've really not seen it very much. My experience of gigging with this guitar live has always been great. It's reliable. I feel like the tuners must be great quality. They are Epiphone Deluxe tuners, so lucky you if you have them, because I think they're great. And it goes to show that if you were to buy some, I think I would swear by them. Always been great. Like I say, no upgraded hardware. This has, the intonation has always been very, very good. I don't feel like it's particularly great right now. This is normally in D standard. That's usually my intonation test, playing Mr. Brightside. But yeah, it's always been, I honestly think, really good for what I use it for anyway. So I can't really complain. And maybe you get something out of it being semi-hollow, I'm not sure. Yeah, it rings really true, and it's also very light because obviously it's semi-hollow. That really helps. Super, super light. But as I say, the only real letdown right now has been the electronics. But I say letdown, I mean after a lot of use, they're starting to get a little bit wobbly. So I think I probably will put a bit more money, well, quite a bit of money into this by upgrading the whole electronic side of things. New switch. Get some decent pots and, make a bit more of it, I think. But that said, I would definitely not buy a Gibson Les Paul because I just feel like it's a fabulous guitar. Why would you do it? So at this price point, I think they were maybe around £500-600 quid at the time. So is it just that this is a particularly well-made one, or is it that Epiphone just do smash the Les Paul? And is there some absolute juju magic behind the Les Paul? That's what I want to know. That's why I'm doing this video, because I just find it immensely interesting. But yeah, please let me know what you think. Tell me what your Gibson Les Paul's like. If you own one and an Epiphone, and do you feel like they compare, or just tell me if there's some diminishing returns. I'd be really interested to know, because like I say, I don't own a Gibson Les Paul because I don't feel like I need one. So Can I change my own mind? I'm not sure, but let me know. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Hit the like and subscribe if you can to the channel and see more stuff like this. This is just a quick little fun one, but I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much.